There comes a moment in every life when you realize that the greatest enemy you have been fighting has never stood outside your door. It has lived quietly inside your own mind, wearing the face of comfort, speaking with the voice of tomorrow, convincing you that there is always another sunrise to begin, another Monday to change, another perfect opportunity waiting just beyond the horizon. But life has a strange way of revealing the truth. Tomorrow is not a promise. It is an illusion that borrows its strength from your hesitation. The only place where your future can ever be built is this moment, and the only hands capable of building it are the ones attached to you today. Every dream that has ever become reality passed through the narrow doorway of daily action. Not dramatic action, not heroic action. Simple, consistent, often unnoticed action. The mountain does not become majestic overnight. It is shaped by winds that never stop. The river does not carve stone because it is powerful once. It transforms landscapes because it refuses to quit. Nature has never been in a hurry, and yet everything is accomplished. There is a lesson hidden there for anyone willing to observe. Strength is not born from intensity alone. It is born from consistency. 1,000 quiet steps will always travel farther than one giant leap followed by months of standing still. Many people wait to feel motivated before they move. They believe action is the child of inspiration. But wisdom teaches the opposite. Action gives birth to motivation. Movement creates energy. The first step awakens the second awakens the third. Before long, momentum becomes your companion. Your feelings are temporary guests. Your actions become permanent architects. If you only move when you feel inspired, your life will always be controlled by emotions that change with the weather. Some mornings your mind will whisper that you are unstoppable. Other mornings it will convince you that nothing matters. If your discipline depends on your mood, then your future depends on something unstable. The ancient masters understood something modern minds often forget. They trained themselves not to obey every thought that appeared in consciousness. They watched their thoughts the way a person watches clouds crossing the sky. They knew that not every cloud becomes a storm. You are not every voice inside your head. You are the awareness listening to those voices. One voice says rest. Another says begin. One voice says you're too late. Another reminds you that the next best time is now. One voice invents excuses so convincing they sound like wisdom. Another quietly says, take one step. The quality of your life depends on which voice you strengthen through repetition. Every day you vote for the person you are becoming. Not with words, not with wishes, with actions. The person who wakes before dawn to study when no one is watching casts a vote. The person who exercises when comfort calls casts a vote. The person who remains patient instead of reacting in anger casts a vote. The person who chooses silence instead of unnecessary argument casts a vote. Character is nothing more than accumulated choices repeated until they become identity. This is why daily action matters so deeply. It is never just about completing a task. It is about shaping the invisible architecture of the soul. People often misunderstand discipline. They imagine it as punishment. They see it as restriction. They believe discipline steals freedom. Yet reality reveals something completely different. Discipline creates freedom. Without discipline, your emotions become your master. Without discipline, distractions steal your attention. Without discipline, fear dictates your decisions. Without discipline, comfort quietly imprisons your potential. True freedom belongs to the person who can command themselves. Imagine two people standing before the same opportunity. One waits until confidence arrives. The other begins despite uncertainty. Months later, one has experience. The other has excuses. Confidence was never the beginning. Confidence was always the reward. The world celebrates visible success, but it rarely witnesses the invisible victories that create it. No one applauds the mornings you wake early while everyone else sleeps. No audience cheers when you resist temptation. There are no trophies for remaining focused when distractions surround you. Yet these unseen moments are where greatness quietly grows its roots. A tree survives storms because of roots nobody sees. A human survives life storms because of habits nobody applauds. There's enormous power in becoming someone who keeps promises made to themselves. Think about that. How many times have you promised yourself that this would be the day you would begin, the day you would stop delaying, the day you would become serious? Then evening arrived carrying another unfinished promise. The deepest disappointment is rarely caused by other people. It comes from repeatedly abandoning yourself. Every broken promise weakens trust between you and your own spirit. Eventually, your mind stops believing your intentions because experience has taught it otherwise. This is why the smallest completed action possesses extraordinary power. When you keep one promise, something inside begins to heal. Trust returns. Self-respect grows. Your inner voice becomes stronger. You begin believing yourself again. Never underestimate the psychological strength of simply doing what you said you would do, even if it seems small, especially if it seems small. Small victories train the nervous system to recognize consistency as normal. And what becomes normal eventually becomes effortless. The bamboo spends years growing beneath the soil before anyone notices change. During those silent years, invisible roots spread in every direction. To an impatient observer, nothing appears to happen. But the wise know that invisible preparation always precedes visible transformation. Your own growth often follows the same pattern. There will be seasons when progress cannot be measured. Your effort feels unnoticed. Results seem distant. Doubt visits more frequently than confidence. During those seasons, continue. Not because success is guaranteed tomorrow. Continue because becoming someone who never quits is already a form of success. Life constantly presents two paths. One path offers immediate comfort and future regret. The other offers temporary discomfort and lasting peace. Comfort has a seductive voice. It says, you deserve a break. You can start tomorrow. Missing one day won't matter. Individually, those sentences seem harmless. Repeated over years, they quietly become a life never fully lived. The mind seeks comfort because comfort conserves energy. Thousands of years of evolution taught human beings to avoid unnecessary effort. But your future is not shaped by ancient instincts alone. It is shaped by conscious choice. You possess something extraordinary: awareness, the ability to witness your impulses without obeying them. This is true power. Power is not controlling others. Power is controlling the urge to surrender to your lowest impulses. Anyone can react. Few can respond with intention. Anyone can follow emotion. Few can guide emotion. Anyone can make excuses. Few can quietly continue. There is something almost sacred about silent perseverance. In a noisy world where everyone announces their ambitions, the strongest individuals often work without speaking. Silence protects energy. Silence prevents comparison. Silence allows focus to deepen. When your attention stops seeking validation, it begins creating transformation. Not everything needs to be shared. Some victories become stronger when they remain private. There is a peaceful dignity in becoming someone whose results speak louder than their announcements. Many people exhaust themselves imagining the entire journey. The mind becomes overwhelmed. The destination appears impossibly far away. Then fear whispers, "Why even begin?" But mountains are never climbed all at once. They are climbed one careful step after another. Ask less from yourself in the beginning. Do not demand perfection. Demand presence. Complete today's responsibility. Tomorrow will bring its own. When tomorrow becomes today, complete that responsibility too. Soon, you discover an astonishing truth. Extraordinary lives are simply ordinary days lived with extraordinary consistency. The problem is rarely lack of ability. It is scattered attention. Modern life competes aggressively for your focus. Notifications, opinions, entertainment, comparison, urgency. Noise surrounds you from every direction. Attention has become one of the world's most valuable currencies because wherever attention flows, life follows. If your attention belongs to everyone else, your future belongs to everyone else. Guard your attention as carefully as ancient monks guarded the entrance to sacred temples. Not every conversation deserves your energy. Not every opinion deserves your reaction. Not every invitation deserves your acceptance. Learning what to ignore may be more valuable than learning what to pursue. The peaceful mind accomplishes what the distracted mind only dreams about. Observe the archer. Before releasing the arrow, everything becomes still. Breathing slows, vision narrows, movement disappears. Power emerges from stillness. Your life requires the same quality of focus. Not frantic effort, directed effort, calm effort, intentional effort. The world often glorifies busyness. But busyness and progress are not the same. You can spend an entire day moving without advancing. you can complete dozens of tasks while neglecting the one task capable of changing your future. The question is never merely, am I busy? The question is, am I becoming? Every evening offers an opportunity for honest reflection. Did today's actions move you toward your highest self, or merely entertain your current self? There is a profound difference. Your current self seeks pleasure. Your highest self seeks purpose. Purpose often asks for sacrifice, not because life is cruel, because transformation always requires letting go of something familiar. To become disciplined, you release dependence on comfort. To become peaceful, you release attachment to constant stimulation. To become wise, you release the illusion that every thought deserves belief. Growth is not adding more to yourself. Growth is removing what weakens you. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. You wish to climb the mountain faster. Instead of asking how to become stronger, perhaps first ask which stones can be left behind. Resentment is a stone. Fear is a stone. Comparison is a stone. Excuses are stones. Old identities are stones. The climb becomes easier not because the mountain changed, but because you stopped carrying unnecessary weight. Each sunrise quietly asks the same question. Who will you become today? Not next year. Not after success. Today. Identity is shaped daily. If you repeatedly choose courage, you become courageous. If you repeatedly choose patience, you become patient. If you repeatedly choose discipline, eventually discipline no longer feels like effort. It becomes who you are. This is why action cannot remain occasional. The soul learns through repetition. Your muscles strengthen through repetition. Your mind transforms through repetition. Even your beliefs evolve through repetition. What you practice, you become. If every day you practice distraction, distraction becomes identity. If every day you practice focus, focus becomes identity. The beautiful truth is that no one else can practice your life for you. No mentor can breathe on your behalf. No teacher can build your habits. No friend can wake up with your determination. Others may inspire, others may guide, others may encourage, but eventually you stand alone before your own choices. That solitude is not something to fear. It is something to honor, because within that quiet space lives the opportunity to discover your true strength. Strength does not appear when circumstances become easy. Strength reveals itself when your mind begs you to stop and you gently answer, one more step. Not out of anger, not out of force, but out of respect for the person you are determined to become. There is a calm kind of courage that rarely makes headlines. It does not shout. It does not seek recognition. It simply returns every day. It sits down to do the work. It keeps learning after failure. It remains humble after success. It continues even when results are invisible. That quiet courage is far more powerful than moments of dramatic inspiration because it survives long after emotion has disappeared. One day, perhaps years from now, someone will look at your life and call you lucky. They will admire your discipline without seeing the mornings you wrestled with laziness. They will praise your confidence without knowing how often you acted while afraid. They will celebrate your achievements without understanding the countless ordinary days that slowly built the extraordinary. They will see the fruit. They will not see the roots, but you will know. You will remember the silent battles that nobody witnessed, the moments when quitting seemed reasonable, the evenings when exhaustion whispered persuasive arguments, the mornings when your bed felt warmer than your purpose, and you will remember that your life did not change because of one magical breakthrough. It changed because, again and again, you chose action over hesitation, awareness over impulse, discipline over comfort, and purpose over excuses, because every meaningful transformation begins long before anyone else can see it. The world notices the blossom, but it rarely honors the season beneath the soil where roots struggled through darkness. Yet if you truly desire a life that stands firm against uncertainty, you must learn to fall in love with the invisible seasons of your own becoming. There will be days when nothing seems to change. You will wake with the same responsibilities. You will face the same obstacles. You will carry the same doubts. The temptation will be to believe that your efforts are leading nowhere. But the deepest changes are almost always silent. The strongest walls are built one brick at a time. No single brick appears impressive. No single day seems extraordinary. But remove enough bricks, and the wall collapses. Add enough bricks, And eventually, there stands something capable of enduring generations. Your habits are those bricks. Every disciplined morning places another one. Every focused hour places another one. Every promise you keep to yourself strengthens the structure of your character. Do not underestimate the value of ordinary days. It is easy to remain committed when life feels exciting. It is easy to work hard when praise surrounds you. It is easy to stay focused when success arrives quickly. But life is not measured by your performance on exceptional days. It is measured by what you repeatedly choose on completely ordinary ones. The ordinary day is where destiny quietly changes direction. When nobody expects anything remarkable from you, that is the moment you discover whether your discipline belongs to the world or belongs to your soul. Many people perform only when someone is watching. They work harder under supervision. They become disciplined when applause is possible. They become focused when recognition is near. But there is another kind of person, a quieter person, someone who works with the same sincerity in complete solitude, someone whose standards are not determined by public attention, but by private integrity. Integrity is one of the rarest forms of strength because it asks you to become the same person in every circumstance. When the room is full, when the room is empty, when success smiles, when failure visits, when motivation rises, when motivation disappears, your consistency becomes your identity. There is profound peace in no longer negotiating with yourself every morning. The mind often behaves like a clever merchant. It bargains. Skip today. Start next week. You've already done enough. It never demands that you quit forever. It only asks you to pause for one day, but one day becomes another, then another. Eventually, what was once a small delay becomes a forgotten dream. Notice how rarely greatness disappears all at once. It fades quietly. One excuse, one distraction, one compromise, one unnecessary comfort. Until years later, a person wonders where their potential went. Potential does not vanish overnight. It leaks away through neglected moments. That is why awareness is essential. The wise do not simply observe the world. They observe themselves. They notice the instant laziness disguises itself as rest. They notice when fear dresses itself as logic. They notice when pride pretends to be confidence. Without awareness, the mind becomes a master of deception. It will convince you that avoiding discomfort is wisdom. It will convince you that waiting is preparation. It will convince you that dreaming is progress. Yet reality remains beautifully simple. Nothing changes until you do. The mirror never smiles first. Life responds to movement, not intention, not desire, not hope. Movement. Action is the language through which the universe understands commitment. Imagine planting a seed. Would you dig it up every morning to check whether it is growing? Of course not. You understand that growth requires patience. Then why become impatient with yourself? Why expect your discipline to produce immediate rewards? Why believe that 1 month of consistency should erase years of distraction? The oak tree never envies the flower that blooms in a single season. It knows its own path requires time. And because it requires time, it develops strength that cannot be rushed. Become like the oak. Stand firm while others seek shortcuts. Grow quietly while others seek attention. Deepen your roots while others decorate their branches. Storms respect deep roots. Life has a mysterious way of testing whatever lesson you claim to have learned. If you say you have developed patience, life will make you wait. If you say you have developed courage, life will place fear before you. If you say you have developed discipline, comfort will invite you back. These are not punishments. They are opportunities. Knowledge remains theory until life asks you to live it. Anyone can speak beautifully about perseverance. Few continue after repeated disappointment. Anyone can admire discipline. Few embrace the loneliness that often accompanies it. Anyone can desire transformation. Few welcome the sacrifices it quietly demands. Every version of yourself must pay a price. The undisciplined person pays with regret. The disciplined person pays with effort. Both prices require energy. The question is not whether life will ask something of you. The question is which payment creates the future you truly desire. Regret grows heavier with age. Effort grows lighter with repetition. Choose carefully. There is another illusion that keeps many people trapped. They believe they must become fearless before they begin. But courage has never required the absence of fear. Fear is simply energy searching for direction. The heart beats faster. The mind imagines failure. The body hesitates. None of these sensations prevent action unless you surrender authority to them. The warrior feels fear. The artist feels fear. The teacher feels fear. The leader feels fear. The difference is not emotional experience. The difference is obedience. One obeys fear. The other acknowledges fear and continues walking. Imagine standing beside a river. The current is strong. You cannot stop its movement. Thoughts resemble that river. They continue flowing whether invited or not. Some thoughts encourage you. Others discourage you. Some predict victory. Others predict failure. Wisdom is realizing you do not have to jump into every current that passes before you. Observe, notice, release. Return your attention to the present task. This single ability changes everything. The distracted mind becomes exhausted because it argues with every passing thought. The peaceful mind allows unnecessary thoughts to pass without resistance. Silence is not merely the absence of sound. Silence is freedom from unnecessary internal conflict. There are moments when doing less creates greater strength, not less effort, less noise, less comparison, less proving, less explaining. Some of the strongest people no longer waste energy convincing others of who they are. They simply become. A mountain never announces its height. The ocean never argues about its depth. The sun never demands appreciation for its light. It simply fulfills its purpose. Become less interested in being noticed. Become more interested in becoming undeniable. When your work becomes excellent, explanation becomes unnecessary. Results possess a language no argument can replace. Your relationship with time also deserves careful attention. Many people treat time as though it exists in endless supply. They postpone meaningful conversations. They postpone learning. They postpone health. They postpone purpose. Then one day they discover that the calendar has been quietly moving while they remained still. Time is unlike money. Money lost can often be earned again. Time spent never returns. This realization should not create anxiety. It should awaken gratitude. Every sunrise places fresh hours into your hands. How you spend them slowly becomes who you are. Spend your hours chasing distractions, and distraction becomes identity. Spend your hours strengthening yourself, and strength becomes identity. Hours become days. Days become years. Years become a life. Your life is not built from decades. It is built from this afternoon, this evening, the next decision. There is remarkable power hidden inside a single intentional hour. One focused hour repeated daily becomes hundreds of hours each year. Hundreds of hours become mastery. Mastery appears miraculous only to those who never witnessed the ordinary hours that created it. Nothing extraordinary is truly separate from the ordinary. It is simply the ordinary practiced with uncommon devotion. Never compare your beginning to another person's middle. Comparison is a thief that never steals loudly. It whispers. It says someone else is ahead. Someone else is younger. Someone else has more talent. Someone else has more resources. The comparison continues until your own path disappears beneath the weight of someone else's story. But no flower delays blooming because another flower opened first. No river refuses to flow because another river reached the sea. Nature expresses itself completely without comparison. Perhaps that is why it remains peaceful. Your journey was never meant to imitate another person's footsteps. Your responsibility is not to become someone else. Your responsibility is to fully become yourself. This requires honesty, not the honesty you offer others, the honesty you offer yourself. Can you admit when you are hiding behind excuses? Can you admit when distraction has become addiction? Can you admit when comfort has become captivity? The truth may wound the ego for a moment, but illusion wounds the soul for years. Face reality with courage. Reality is always kinder than prolonged self-deception. Every difficult truth accepted becomes the beginning of freedom. Every comforting lie believed becomes another chain. The strongest individuals are not those who avoid weakness. They are those who confront weakness without hatred. Look carefully at your limitations. Study them, understand them. but do not become them. Your weaknesses are teachers, not identities. When impatience appears, learn patience. When anger appears, learn stillness. When laziness appears, learn movement. Every challenge carries the seed of the very quality your soul needs to cultivate. Life is not happening against you. Very often, it is shaping you through experiences your current perspective cannot yet fully understand. One day you may thank the obstacle that today feels unbearable, not because suffering was pleasant, but because it revealed strength you never would have discovered in comfort. Gold becomes pure through fire. Steel becomes strong through heat. The human spirit becomes resilient through responsibility willingly accepted. Stop asking whether the path is difficult. Ask whether the path is making you deeper. There's a difference between being busy and being awake. Many people move constantly, yet remain asleep to their own lives. They repeat the same habits, think the same thoughts, react in the same ways. Years pass without genuine transformation. Awakening begins when you interrupt unconscious repetition, when you pause before reacting, when you choose purpose instead of impulse, when you replace automatic living with intentional living. That pause changes everything. Within a single conscious breath exists the space to choose differently. Within a single decision exists the possibility of becoming someone entirely new. Transformation is rarely dramatic. It is cumulative. One better choice, one better response, one better habit, again and again and again. Eventually, people say you have changed. What they fail to understand is that your transformation did not happen suddenly. It happened quietly, in thousands of moments when no one else was present. It happened each time you chose growth over convenience. Each time you chose patience over frustration. Each time you chose action over hesitation. Each time you remembered that your greatest responsibility is not merely to achieve more, but to become someone capable of carrying greater responsibility with wisdom, humility, and unwavering inner strength, because a stronger life is never created by accident. It is created through deliberate attention to the smallest moments that most people overlook. Every decision you make either strengthens your future or weakens it. Every moment you choose awareness over impulse, you reclaim a piece of yourself that comfort once tried to steal. There comes a point on this journey when you stop asking life to become easier. Something changes inside you. You begin asking yourself to become stronger. This is one of the greatest turning points a human being can experience. As long as your happiness depends on perfect circumstances, your peace will always remain fragile. There will always be another challenge, another disappointment, another unexpected storm waiting somewhere along the road. If your strength depends on the absence of difficulty, then difficulty will always have power over you. But when your strength begins to grow from within, the world loses its ability to control your spirit. The wind may shake the branches. It cannot uproot the tree whose roots have reached deep enough. Become that tree, not because life will stop testing you, because you will no longer fear its tests. Every hardship carries within it an invitation, not an invitation to suffer endlessly, an invitation to awaken, to discover patience where there was once frustration, to discover courage where there was once hesitation, to discover discipline where there was once distraction. The obstacle is never only an obstacle, it is also a mirror. It reflects the parts of yourself that still require growth. When life exposes your impatience, it is pointing toward patience. When life exposes your fear, it is pointing toward courage. When life exposes your inconsistency, it is inviting discipline. Do not resent these moments. Receive them with humility. They are shaping a version of you that comfort never could. Remember that the strongest people are rarely the loudest. The deepest rivers flow quietly. The tallest mountains stand without announcing themselves. The sun rises every morning without demanding applause. True greatness has no need to advertise itself. It simply fulfills its purpose. Live your life in the same way. Allow your work to speak. Allow your character to speak. Allow your consistency to speak. Words may inspire for a moment. Example inspires for generations. There will be people who doubt you. Some will doubt because they cannot imagine changing their own lives. Some will doubt because your growth reminds them of their excuses. Some will doubt simply because they are afraid of what persistence can accomplish. Do not spend your energy trying to convince them. The seed never argues with the winter, it simply prepares for spring. Keep growing, quietly, patiently, relentlessly. There is extraordinary freedom in no longer needing permission to become the person you were created to be. You do not need everyone's approval. You do not need perfect timing. You do not need certainty. You only need the courage to take the next honest step. Again, and again, and again. One day you will look back and realize that the life you once dreamed about was not built through extraordinary talent. It was built through ordinary faithfulness. Faithfulness to your purpose, faithfulness to your values, faithfulness to your daily disciplines. The person you become is not determined by one decision. It is determined by thousands of decisions that nobody else will ever see. Those lonely mornings, those difficult evenings, those moments when quitting felt easier than continuing. Those silent victories when you chose what was right instead of what was comfortable. Those moments become your legacy, not because the world witnessed them, because they transformed you. And perhaps that is the greatest victory any person can achieve. Not becoming famous, not becoming wealthy, not becoming admired, but becoming someone who can trust themselves completely. Someone whose words and actions walk together. Someone whose peace is not borrowed from circumstances. Someone who remains calm in chaos, focused in distraction, humble in success, resilient in failure, and grateful in every season. Imagine waking each morning without needing to negotiate with your own mind. Imagine looking into the mirror and seeing someone you deeply respect. Not because they are perfect, because they are honest, because they continue. Because they refuse to betray their own potential. That kind of respect cannot be purchased. It cannot be given by another person. It is earned through the quiet accumulation of disciplined days. The world may never fully understand your journey. Some people will only notice the destination. They will never see the sacrifices hidden beneath your smile. They will never know the battles fought in silence. The fears you refused to obey, the habits you patiently built, the comforts you willingly released. The nights you kept going when nobody would have blamed you for stopping. But you will know, your heart will know, your spirit will know. And in that quiet understanding, there is a peace greater than recognition. Because the greatest reward for discipline is not success, it is freedom. Freedom from excuses, freedom from endless procrastination, freedom from being controlled by every passing emotion, freedom from becoming a stranger to your own potential. When you master yourself, the world no longer determines who you are. Circumstances become teachers instead of prisons. Failure becomes instruction instead of identity. Success becomes responsibility instead of pride. Every sunrise becomes another opportunity to practice the art of becoming. Never believe that your best days are behind you. As long as you are willing to learn, to act, to remain humble, to continue growing, your life is still unfolding. There is another level of wisdom waiting. Another level of peace, another level of discipline, another version of yourself that your current habits have not yet revealed. Meet that person, not through wishing, not through waiting, through action, patient action, consistent action, purposeful action, one breath, one decision, one step. That is how every meaningful journey has always begun, and that is how yours continues. So when this moment ends and the noise of the world returns, remember that your future will not be decided by what inspired you today. It will be decided by what you choose to do today. Stand up. Honor your word. Protect your focus. Guard your mind. Train your body. Strengthen your character. Welcome discomfort as a faithful teacher. Walk with patience. Work in silence. Remain humble. Keep moving even when no one is watching. Especially then. Because every disciplined choice is a quiet declaration that you refuse to live beneath your own potential. Every focused hour is a promise to the person you are becoming. Every act of self-control is another chain broken. Every day you choose growth, you write a different future. And one day, without even noticing when it happened, you will no longer be chasing the life you once imagined. You will be living it, not because the world changed, because you did. Master your mind before it masters you. Master your habits before they shape your destiny without your consent. Master your actions, and your actions will shape your character. Master your character, and your character will shape your life. The greatest victory you will ever achieve is not over another person. It is over the weaker version of yourself that believed comfort was enough, that tomorrow would always come, that potential alone could build a meaningful life. Leave that version behind with gratitude, not resentment. It brought you this far, but it cannot take you where you are meant to go. From this day forward, let every sunrise remind you that another opportunity has been placed in your hands. Let every challenge remind you that strength is being forged. Let every quiet act of discipline remind you that greatness is never an event. It is a way of living, and let every step you take become proof that the most powerful transformation on earth begins the moment a person decides to master themselves. One day, one choice, and one unwavering act of courage at a time.